What is 85 plus 25?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
85 plus 25?
Yep.
25, 5, 10, 8, 5, 6. 60?
60. Good job.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. You know, if you always wonder why I keep coming back to Miss Yana Hocking, world's worst dating coach and lady empowerment person, it's because she pretty much embodies what women are today, which is say one thing, do another. She can't even follow her own awful advice. And she has a new article, and it pretty much verifies everything we think about her and women in general. If you remember, just, 3 weeks ago? A month ago, I guess? I did this video, I won't sleep with a man until he spends $2,000 on me. Here's why. And she goes through how her friend says, I need $2,000 worth of dates, and $2,000 is what should be spent, and then you get to know them, and it shows that they put out effort, and he won't just smash and leave, etc., etc., etc. So this is her new normal. Well, it's such a great idea. Smash cut to literally a month later. I've tried emotional getting to know you. On a third date, I have so much regret. Why? Because she doesn't want to get to know you. She doesn't want to get to know what you're really about. She wants you to be pretty and masculine and handsome and sleep with her and then go away. You know, like women do. Let's jump. I'm going to jump right to the cut. So this was a month ago, $2,000 worth of dates. This is my new thing. Don't sleep. I won't sleep with a man until he spends $2,000 on me. Smash cut forward to, my date had a massive week traveling for work, so we decided to just Netflix and chill at my place. Yes, that's code for we were going to do the deed, but also hang out as well. How long has she known this date? I think that was probably the first date. We'll find out. But I think if I remember correctly, it was. So it went from spend money on me to, yeah, okay, go ahead and smash there, hot boy. Again, I say this a million times. Watch what women do, not what they say. I mean, the same thing goes for men. Watch what they do and not what they say. One thing they don't tell you growing up is dating isn't all roses and fine dining. We're brought up on fairy tales that make us think Prince Charming will sweep us off our feet and we'll find ourselves married with babies in a house with a white picket fence all before the ripe old age of 30. Cute. Now, look, I always get a little pushback for saying this. A 23-year-old Yana, I bet, was a smoke show. She got a good rack on her. She's not overweight. She's still quite attractive even for late 30s. Okay, but that's late 30s. Take her to 23. She could have met a successful man that does very well for himself. Maybe he was just starting out, on life. He was a few years ahead of her, had graduated from a good college, was on his way to, making six figures a year, and she could have had a comfortable house in the hills. But she didn't. What did she do? She did what most women are doing today, which is sleeping with the bad boys, going on dates with normal guys, probably sleeping with them too if they're attractive, and chasing footballers and everything else, thinking she was eventually going to score somebody that's, a millionaire and that's a top 5%er. And time has elapsed. And now guys are like, well, she's almost 40. She doesn't really plan to have any kids. She's kind of a feminist, but she's still good enough looking, I'll smash. And then so she gets smashed, and then she still doesn't have her house and the white picket fence and anything else. It is their own choice. I don't shame her for it. She's fine doing that. But don't act like somehow the system has failed you. It's your bad choices that get you where you are, Yana. She says, what actually happens, we will go on many bad dates, ones that will make us cringe when we look back on them. Okay, so why haven't you learned? Why do you keep repeating the process? If you do something that makes you cringe or you're like, man, that was a mistake, here's an idea. Don't do the same mistake. Now, what do you do to not do the same mistake? Maybe skip a guy if he's extremely handsome and he just hooks up with a bunch of women and he hasn't had a long-term relationship. Look for a guy that, wants a committed relationship. But no, that's cringy. Ew, how dare you? I should have hit my how dare you button. She says, which is exactly what I'm doing now as I write this. Okay, so she's 40 years old, and she's still, wait for it, she still hasn't learned her lesson. How are we supposed to feel bad for women that do this to themselves? I legitimately mean that. How do we feel bad for women that continually do this to themselves? She says, rest in peace, me and my most recent dating experience. You see, at the age of 39, you would think I would know better. But like most millennials, I'm still figuring it out. Why? Because the dating rules keep changing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, sir.
No, the rules are not changing. They've been the same pretty much for all the length of time, which is if you sleep with a guy without any type of commitment and you don't make him, step up and at least promise to be your boyfriend or promise to be a good man to you, and you just give up, the cookie for free, the guy's not going to invest. Again, there's a reason why you have the expression, if you get, you don't buy the cow when you get the milk for free. That's probably an expression from like the 1950s. So let's not pretend this is new. But like most millennials, she refuses to change what she's doing, and she continues to do the same thing, expecting a different result. She says, but in this case, however, I blame Selena Gomez. Okay, she's going to date. She's going to blame anybody but herself. Last year, I sat down to watch her documentary, My Mind and Me, during the admittedly brilliant documentary. She played a card game with her friends that came in a bright red box and was titled, We're Not Really Strangers. It asks all these deeply personal questions so that players can get to know each other on an intimate level. Naturally, I immediately Googled it for just $40. You can buy the game that will guarantee you know all there is to know about someone in under an hour. In fact, it's marketed as emotional fun, like, that word I can't say on YouTube. Now, as somebody who can't stand small talk but struggles to get to the core of a person, making it sound like an interrogation, I love the idea. I bought it. Then 6 months later, I decided to play it with a guy I'd been on 3 dates with. No, Yana, bad idea. Okay, so she's been on a date with this guy 3 times, I think. We'll find out. But either way, I'm guaranteeing you that guy did not spend $2,000 to earn his way into the bedroom. She says PMI involves sharing way too much personal info about yourself way too fast. It can overwhelm your date. She says, if only I'd known. So she says, my date had a massive week traveling, so we just decided to Netflix and chill at my place. Yes, that's code for we were going to do the deed, but also hang out as well. He came over with a box of wine, or bottle of wine and a pizza. I suggested we play a card game, first mistake. So they play the card game. They answer questions for around 30 minutes. And it included the question, when was the last time you were in love? I told my date all about my most recent heartbreak and to my horror, started to cry. Boy, she must have really had it bad for that alpha Chad. He then responded with, I don't think I've ever been in love, which I found a bit concerning for a 40-something-year-old man. And I told him so. I was far too judgmental, and he was too far offended. Okay. So here we have a 40-year-old guy, 40-something-year-old guy. Again, if Yana's sleeping with him, he's a 10%er, at least in looks. And so she's ready to smash, and he's hot, and they do the Netflix and chill thing. And then when she finds out he's never been in love, that should be a big warning sign. That tells you he's never had an emotional bond with a woman. So why? Well, because he's a player. Because he never keeps a woman around long enough to bother to get to know them. Why? Because he doesn't need to, because he has woman after woman willing, and again, if you're 45 or 50 or whatever, Yana, you see her out at the bar, you're like, yeah, I'll smash. And so that's what the guy keeps doing over and over. Why does he have to fall in love? Why does he have to commit to anybody? He doesn't, and so he won't. So she says, by the time we got to the third level of questions, we were feeling a little emotionally spent. Now we were covering issues from her childhood. She says, oh, guys, it got grim. The more wine we consumed, the more honest we got. And by the time we finished the game, she said there's no mystery left. Not only did he now know I thought his goofy faces in his Instagram pics were slightly immature, but I also found out he thinks my job is kind of lame. It is. We woke up the next morning not only to a red wine hangover, but also a vulnerability hangover. So she finds out he's never been in love. She finds out that he's got a grim childhood. She finds out he's not really the type of guy that she wants to date. Instead of saying, you know what, this evening is taking a little bit of a different direction than I thought, and I don't think we're going to be a good click. What did she do? Let's get undressed and do it, and then you can leave in the morning. Like, it's your own fault. This is why Yana, at the tender age of 39, probably has a body count well into the triple digits. This is why Yana is still single. This is why Yana can't find love. This is why Yana repeats the same mistakes over and over and over again. This is why Yana will be having the same type of article at 43 and 45 and 48 and 52 and 65 and 70. This is Yana's course of action for the rest of her life. As long as she's attractive enough to have guys want to smash her that she thinks is attractive. This is where she is. No guy will settle. Why? Because she gives the milk for free. No one has to buy the cow. And even when he's problematic and she's like, this is definitely not going anywhere, but he's hot, so I still let him smash, and then we'll just break it off tomorrow. This is what so many women are doing, and then they turn around and they're like, I can't find anybody, and men are pigs. Well, you enable men being pigs, but not all men, just the top men. Anyway, she says our mutual "it's not you, it's me" texts were exchanged within the week. There you go. Another week, another body on Yana's headboard. And you know what? I found this last thing I'll share just for fun. This isn't enough to do its own study on. Owning a cat could increase risk of developing schizophrenia. There you go, ladies. All you crazy cat ladies, it's literally a thing. They're cat ladies first, and then they go crazy later. A newly conducted review of 17 studies performed by researchers at the University of Queensland, Australia, shows that owning a pet cat could probably potentially double a person's risk of being a schizo. Researchers administered a new review of 17 studies. Owning a cat is linked to greater risk. You just said that literally in this previous sentence. They performed meta-analysis of prior studies on the past 44 years from 11 different nations. They think it's Toxoplasma gondii, T. gondii, which can access a body through a bite. That's a parasite found in cats. This is a thing. It makes people be more aggressive. It makes people make dumb mistakes, and apparently makes them schizophrenic. There's no surprise there. That's why we call them crazy cat ladies. They go crazy, then they get a cat, and then the cat makes them even crazier. That's where we are. Yana, you're your own. You know, again, if it turned around and Yana said, I've got it all wrong. I'm going to meet a man, and I'm going to not sleep with him right away. I'm going to tell him my body count and my past and all these mistakes I've made, and I'm going to, not hold him just on his looks or that he's hot or that he's rich or whatever. I'm going to find a good, solid dude that maybe he's had a rough life too. Maybe he's been through the ringer, and I'll accept him with his flaws, and he can accept me with my body count and my flaws, and we'll make a real serious go of this. And I really want to work on this. If both people, the man and and Yana, were like, okay, I understand what we're going into. Let's give this an honest try. Hey, at least she, then if it didn't work out, well, we could blame her again for that. But then if it didn't work out, at least she gave it an honest try. Yana's never really changed her methodology in all the articles I've ever seen by her. She chases the bad boy. She sleeps with a bad boy. She gets dumped by the bad boy. And then she laments. And then while she's in recovery, emotional recovery, she just hooks up with dudes until she's ready for another boyfriend. And then she tries to date another bad boy. And the process repeats every year or two, or a couple times a year, or whatever. This is what so many women are doing today. And then when they finally say, okay, nobody wants me anymore, guys, wife me up, come get me, and the men say no, that's when they turn bitter and they go crazy because of the cats. Guys, if you like my work, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com. Great community of men. You just sign up with an email, and I'd really appreciate if you became a supporter today. They're doing some maintenance right now, so posts aren't posting properly, but they'll get that fixed. It's a very, very young website. only a couple years old. So, growing pains, but I would rather support them than the machine because at least they give us free speech and let us talk about what we want to, unlike YouTube.